What is up, average viewers? Welcome back to another episode. I am Joshua, and I just got back from watching Superman. Yes, 2025, James Gunn's Superman. Just got back maybe like 15 minutes ago. I've had some time to think about what I just experienced, and I don't necessarily consider myself a movie reviewer. I know we watch and we react and we discuss what we experienced on this channel, but I don't personally consider myself a movie reviewer. If that's what you guys call it, that's fine. But I wanted to do my best here to share my thoughts with you on my experience watching Superman. Now, off the bat, I want to say that it's a very entertaining film. It's very enjoyable. There's a lot to like. Just the entertainment, to the visuals, to the satisfying action scenes, to very heartfelt moments. Like there's a bit of everything in here. There's a lot to like. And the breath of fresh air take of this Superman, I would say. Now, I have not read all Superman comics. I haven't even seen all the Superman movies. I think I've seen the very first one with Christopher Reeves. Obviously, Man of Steel. What other Superman movies are there? I have an idea of what Superman is, and from what I know, Superman is a very, I don't know, like professional, very mature. He's the face of the Justice League, the face of DC, and this movie, that's what I believed. Like, it's the first film of this new DC universe, Superman, James Gunn, passion project, whatever. And I know there's been controversy on like, oh, James Gunn's writing and directing Superman. We're basically going to get a Guardians of the Galaxy Superman. And I have to admit, I was a bit concerned about that too. And this film is kind of that. There is a heavy James Gunn tone. And I think it does work at times, but at times it, maybe from what I'm familiar with Superman, like I don't necessarily see Superman being so silly or so humorous. I don't know. Sorry about my hand. Excuse my hand. I hurt myself, but we're healing. Look, I enjoyed the film. I did enjoy the film. There was a lot to like about this film. I do think that the film has a lot going on from the get-go. As soon as it starts, it fills you in on what's going on and what has been going on for a long time. It establishes that in this world, in this universe, there are metahumans, and they have been here. And, it kind of just throws you right into the action. It throws you right into, with all the characters, it throws you into what's been going on, and it works. It does work. It just felt like a big scoop of something, and that scoop was a little much to swallow, I think. Whether it be like an introduction of all the characters, like you got Clark Kent, Superman, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Ma and Pa Kent, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, what's his name, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Lex Luthor, and his crew. There's really a lot going on here, but again, it is an established world that they try to let you know about in the beginning of the film. They're letting you know, like, this is going on and this has been going on. So, that's fine. It works. I could see people feeling that way. People feeling like, oh, there's a lot going on here. Why aren't we just focusing on Superman? I don't know. I'm not trying to complain about that. I'm just saying it did feel like there was a lot going on. This Superman, in my opinion, seems to be almost like a year one Superman. I believe he's a year 3 Superman, I believe. But yeah, he just seems very like he's still trying to grasp onto how to do this Superman thing. Obviously, you have the civilians who love him, and then you have his enemy, Lex Luthor, who's trying to take him down. But he doesn't seem to be that leader that I'm familiar with Superman just yet. And, the film does a good job displaying that, and whatever, the film ends. And I can't help but to ask, like, look, we got other DC films coming, other characters, like I believe Supergirl's already been filmed, so that's going to be one of the next films. I don't know what's going on with Batman or any of the other characters, but like this film establishes a tone, and it's a very James Gunn heavy tone. Now I know not everybody likes that tone. A lot of people do, and to be quite honest, I do. I like James Gunn and his movies. I liked the Suicide Squad. I like the Guardians trilogy. I didn't see, what is it called? Commanders, the cartoon, the animated DC thing. You know, James Gunn doesn't fit with everything. You can't make a James Gunn Batman movie, and I think that was a big controversy on the internet leading up to this film. Like I said, I was also concerned about it. I do think for the most part it works. For the most part it works. It is very James Gunn, but it works. It is very colorful. It is very vibrant. It is a different take on Superman, and I feel conflicted about it because, like I said, I'm not familiar with this type of Superman who's not as professional or in that leadership role yet. But I do think it is a nice breath of fresh air to see this type of Superman. In the film, you see him very emotional. You see him very frustrated, trying to do what he believes is right, and getting hated on or getting in trouble because of our world or our government or our cultural rules or establishment. He doesn't see that. He is, an alien from Krypton, come down here to help, to be better, and that's all he sees that he's trying to do. And I love that. I love that how they depicted Clark Kent Superman in this film being that type of person. He's blinded to our worldly rules. He only sees people were going to die. I wanted to help. This is the right thing to do. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like he doesn't see it the way that a lot of us see it. And I do appreciate that, and I do love that. I do love how they displayed that here. But it does make me ask a question like, how is this Superman going to behave in future projects? Eventually, there's going to be a Justice League. Eventually, this Superman is going to be working with a Wonder Woman, a Batman. And in my opinion, Superman is always the face of that team. So to have this face be so not ready, so unprofessional, so immature in some cases, it just seems a little weird. I am wondering like how is this character going to evolve into the Superman that we all love and know? Because there are hints of the Superman being there, but there's also hints of he's not quite there yet. He's not quite ready to be that leader. But look, the movie has a lot to offer. It's beautiful. It has a lot of action, and I feel like the action scenes are very. You feel every hit. Maybe I think we saw it in 4DX. Everything just felt very impactful. Every hit, every blow. It felt very crisp. I really liked it. But yeah, there's a lot to like. David Cornsweet. He's a great Superman. He really is. He's a great Clark Kent. We didn't get a lot of Clark Kent, but what we did, he's a great Superman. I really do think so. I really think he did a great job, and I can see him being a like a legacy character. Like Christopher Reeve was. I was a little too young when that film came out, so I wouldn't necessarily call him my Superman. Henry Cavill's Man of Steel was more, when I was like a teenager, early tweens, I guess you call it. And then this Superman, David Cornsweet, I think I do very much like him. If I would have to pick and say who's your Superman, that's a tough question. I want to say, look, I very much enjoyed Man of Steel, but I wasn't a huge fan on how stoic and silent and unexpressive that Superman was. If that's what they were going for, great. I enjoyed the movie Man of Steel for sure, but I think I enjoy David Cornsweet's Superman more. He's more expressive, really not afraid to say what's on his mind, and I like that. I think it's very refreshing. I think it's very transparent. I think her name is Rachel Rosenbrand, something like that. Forgive me if I got her name wrong. I think she did a great job as Lois. I think she did a really good job. I like their chemistry together. And Lex Luthor also, I think he did a great job. What's his name? Nicholas Hoult. Look, Lex Luthor is a huge, iconic character in the Superman world. And look, I think they did a good job. I think they nailed it, honestly. No film is perfect, so there are going to be things that myself or even you guys are going to find like, this might be a little too much, or they didn't have to lean this way. But I think overall, it's a great film. I think overall, it was a great version of Superman, and I think it did its job as the start of this DC universe. Now, the tone that it has because of James Gunn makes me raise some questions. Like, what is this universe going to be like if this Superman film has risen this standard? I don't know. Just from watching the film, it seemed like a young Superman is kind of the best way that I could put it. And I don't necessarily see this young Superman leading the Justice League. Or I would love to see this young Superman talking with Batman, because I don't think Batman would also be young. I think Batman would be more mature, professional, and maybe even have to put Superman in his place, letting him know how Superman should be doing things, as he is basically a god and should be setting an example. I don't know. Look, I'm all for comic book movies. I love that stuff. I grew up with that stuff. I do want this film to do good. I do want people to like it. And I very much did like it more than the little things that I were concerned about or whatever in the film. But yeah, I know there's like a big controversy out there with the Snyder fans and the James Gunn fans. I would just say give the movie a shot. You don't know until you know. I went in very excited to watch this film, and it didn't disappoint. It really didn't. There was a lot to like about it. It seemed like an energetic comic book movie, which is great. It's a fun time. Sure, you might have some questions on some decisions that they made, on how a character may be behaving, but I think it all works. And just because a character is behaving a certain way in one film doesn't mean that character won't evolve, have an arc, and ultimately become a character that you're more familiar with. I don't think James Gunn is going to be directing or writing every DC film. But yes, I think this film, Superman, James Gunn's Superman, did its job in sharing with us what this new world, what this new universe is about. That these metahumans are here, they've been here, this is our Superman, and this is our Lex Luthor, this is our other characters and all that. And more are coming, like more characters, more movies, more films and stuff like that are coming, and I'm excited to see them, honestly. I really am. I hope that DC Studios can really grab the horns on this and keep riding, because I enjoyed my time watching the film. I really did. Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with other darker characters like Batman, the Joker, characters that, I don't know, maybe just might not necessarily go so well with this James Gunn tone. But yes, Superman 2025, it was a hell of a ride, really. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. I went to go see it with my wife. My wife enjoyed it also. Yeah, I think it's definitely a win for comic book movies and comic book movie goers or movie viewers like all of us. That's what these films are here for. They're here to connect with us with this thing that we love, these comic book characters, and show us a real life version of them. You know what I mean? So when I was there watching it, it really, it was an experience. It was a great time. I had a smile on my face most of the time. Maybe I did feel like I said, like, this is just a big scoop of something. There's so much in this scoop that I'm trying to swallow right now. It just seemed like a bit much, but I think that the film and the creators did a good job in tying it all together and delivering us a great Superman film. I really do think so. Now, I know not everybody's going to agree with me. I know, films, art is all subjective, so it's fine. But I did enjoy it, and I would encourage you guys to go check it out and to keep an open mind, because, hey, why not? But guys, Superman 2025, James Gunn's film, the start to this DC universe. Have you seen it yet? I hope I didn't spoil anything. I really tried my best not to. But yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Joshua. You'll catch me in the next one. Average Viewers out.